Dammit. Out. Let me out. And the end. Oh, okay. Before the fact.
第25話祝福の鐘が鳴る前に
Promising title. Alright.
じゃあリツコも何も聞いていないのね。はい変ね。千穂さんは二人は幼馴染だし。私も何も。そうメールも来ていないんでしょ。
Ritsuko nodded.
本当変だわ。私ちょっと何人かに聞いてみたのだけど、出て行くところを見た人も誰もいないって。一体何時に出て行ったのかしら。バスの時間だってあるのに。それに普通に考えると挨拶もなしに出て行く必要もないと思うのだけど。私は最初またお金関係のトラブルなのかなと思ったんだけど、それで何も言わなかった。でももう借金は清算したはずなんですよね。そうよね。何にしろ一言もないっていうのはやっぱり変よね。だいたい時期も時期よ。もう2月に入ってグランデボートも間近じゃない。なのに象徴として入った人が消えちゃうなんて。マサヤさんってそんなに無責任な人だったのかしらね。マサヤ様はそんな人じゃ。紅バラ会にとってはその方がいいんじゃないの？安く見ないでほしいわね。勝負は正々堂々と戦ってこそだわ。なるほどね。でも実際ダメージよね、これは。せっかく白百合会も支持を集めつつあったようなのに。けどまあ戻ってきてさえくれれば。いつ戻ってくるのかしら。
No one spoke up to answer Misai's concern.
私おばあ様に聞いてみたのよね。でも寝耳に水だっておばあ様も戸惑っていたわ。一体何がどうなっているのか本当わからないわ。リツコ、今日は目が赤いわよ。また泣いていたの
All eyes turned to her in concern. Ritsuko just gave them a reassuring smile, though she wasn't sure how convincing it was. It's definitely hard on you. I woke from my shallow sleep. I had hoped that I would wake to find myself on my self bed at Vansworth, but the reality wasn't so kind. So this route, instead of Chiho, you yourself get kidnapped. Well, that curtain, part of it was just that it was hard to get comfortable on the sofa, but mostly it was that I had spent most of yesterday taking at the door. I was in the ruins of what used to be a coffee shop. The door at the top of the stairs was extremely sturdy.
悪いことをするために改造したんだとよ。
この野郎. The underling Kiyoshi had said those words with the most disgustingly smug expression. Fuck. When I sat up, my brain felt like it was in a fog. probably due to lack of sleep. It seemed that when the shop was still in business, the proprietors ran some shady operations. I didn't ask, but he told me anyway. It's not confidential, huh? Okay. As a result, it had a shower and other facilities installed, which the boss said I could use at my leisure.
おめえの監禁は長丁場になるからな。しばらくの間、ここで生活するつもりでいるんだな。
That's actually pretty nice of you. But a long confinement? The meaning of those words weighed heavily on my body anew. How long was I going to have to spend in this dark basement of confinement? That night, the goons had broken into my door and pressed a strange smelling rag over my nose and mouth. The next thing I knew, I was here. And there were a few points that worried me. One, how did we get past front-end security? Two, how did they find my room? Thousand Leaves Dormitory had 3 buildings and there were a lot of room to niche. They couldn't have found mine, but I guess with their room. No matter how I thought about it, it was clear that they must have had an inside man. Headmistress. And now, who would have the motive and the means to do such a thing? Do you need to think about that? Yeah. But not even I could believe she'd gone this far. She was always so strict about the rules to approach gangsters like this. She must have really fought with herself over it. And yet she had done it. Her determination made my blood run cold. Ritsuko must have been worried about me. I wanted to see her so bad. Even at the best of times, I couldn't bear not seeing her face at least once a day. And now, being shut alone with 2 men and not knowing when I might ever get out, never knowing when I might see Ritsuko-chan's face again. I had shut off the shower, but there was still something flowing down my face. Manly tears. Madly, I crouched down in the narrow shower stall, covered my face, and wept. Even during the darkest period of my life, I had never cried like this before. I wiped myself off with a towel and heard a voice from above.
Oi! もう来たのか?
Kora! Hayosu! I got dressed and ran up the stairs. Steps. You let me out! Fucker. Bang bang.
もううるせえ
Kiyoshi looked at me through the slot that contributed to the room's prison-like atmosphere.
ほら飯持ってきてやったぞありがたく食え
Okay. He pushed a sweet bun through the lower slot with his foot. I took a bite and spit it at him. Those 2 slots, high and low on the sturdy door, were all my contact with the outside world. That must have hurt. Let me the fucking out!
あ聞こえねえな
Yeah, of course, I said it so soft. Fuck.
昼頃また来るおとなしくしてろ
No. The slot's lid closed with a shake. Wait! I can't actually kick something right now, so will this do? Whatever. I kicked the door as hard as I could. A sharp pain ran up my leg, but I wasn't about to let it bother me.
ああ、なんだよ、うるせえな。
Can I see my girlfriend? Someone asked you to do this, right? It was that mistress, right? His eyes twitched. Unlike his boss, who was as unshakable as a boulder, Kiyoshi was pretty easy to read. The headmistress told you to do this, right? So, when is she going to let me out?
知るかよ。
What are you after? Money? Did you already run through that 50 million I gave you?
大人にはいろいろあんだよ。ああ、もううるせえ。
おい、Kiyoshi!
バカ野郎！ガキが気安く呼び捨てにすんじゃねえ！
Bang bang, I heard him kick the door from the other side. I said open up, Kiyoshi. Bastard. I kicked back as hard as I could, but I didn't hear a response. Kiyoshi was such a simpleton. I felt sure that if I yelled at him, he wouldn't be able to resist opening the door. I shouted every insult that came to mind. I looked like he had already gone. Pretty smart for a simpleton, eh? I took the sweet bun and walked downstairs. Despite everything that had happened, I was still hungry. Ampana. God damn it. It was the same thing I had eaten so often when I was poor. Cause they're super cheap, alright? Anyway, I've gotta get back as soon as possible. They had adopted me close to midnight on the 1st, so today should be the 3rd. The headmistress was surely looking to skew the chronicle. After all, I was the symbol of school reform. Desire for reform had spiked with the start of the 3rd term. Maybe she had panicked and decided to get rid of me to stop that rise. That was the most I could infer about the situation. You're pretty smart. And of course, she has a personal grudge against me too. Even though I was honestly trying to figure out ways to get her to accept me. Not only was she my girlfriend's mother, but I honestly didn't want us to be at each other's throat. I was in no position to think about that right now. I scarfed down the bread. After that, there was nothing else to do. Just sit and stew. How could I get out of this locked room? To be honest, nothing was coming to me. Now something must come to you, hello? This is a place for shady business. Wouldn't there be a secret passage anywhere, somewhere, here? Masaya? Hello? Common sense. Knowing that that wouldn't fucking work, he still did it. Reflexively though. Can't be blamed, cause it's reflex. It was completely pointless and I was only hurting myself, but... Stubborn man. Let me out! Let me out! 3 days later. And it's Monday now.
案の定よ。
Reese's shoulders sagged as she read the special survey she had asked Tony to take. Ritsuko looked at it, glassy-eyed. Despite what she was saying, her mind couldn't seem to make sense of it.
急落だわ。やっぱり、要の位置にいたのは、まさやさんだったのね。
Ritsuko's mind continued to pull away from reality as she thought over what happened the night before, over and over again.
今度の日曜日、神父様をお招きするわ。結婚式よ。
That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Hello? You need a certificate.
なるべく早くすると言ったわね。神父様と婿、両者の都合のいい日取りが12日だったの。
だって。
まあ、役所への届け出は後でいいでしょう。まずは、神の見前での婚姻の筆跡だわ。
You know that it doesn't work like that, right?
依存はないわね。律子にとってもなるべく早い方がいいのではないの？それだけお好み正也も早く解放される。
And you just said that saying that you've just revealed yourself to be the perpetrator. Her mom was no longer attempting to hide his confinement. She had taken Masaya somewhere, but she hadn't breathed a word as to where he was being held. Ritsuko nodded and spoke immediately.
すぐに離婚するからね。
Ritsuko's mother watched her expression troubled.
お前は本当にお好み正也と一緒になることで幸せになれると信じているのね。
当たり前でしょ。
To release the bitch.
愛なんて続かないわ。
It does not long. I mean last long. That is true. But true love, that unbreakable. Alright. You just happen to be rash. During your childhood, I mean your teenage days, just happen to be rash. And now this happens. Ritsuko may be the same way, but you may never know. That sucks, man.
永遠なるものは神とこの万仙女。それだけよ。
No. Nope. Nope. There will be times where you lose faith in God. That is perfectly true. So, the moment you lose faith in God, in your mind, it won't be an eternal thing to you anymore. Yeah. And as for Vincent, how are you going to make it an eternal thing without change? I don't know.
そんなことない。
That simple logic that Ritsuko knows, that she is aware about.
いいえ、そうなの。母さんの仲のいい友人も同じだったわ。結局、この学校こそが私たちにとって全てなの。
私にとっては、マサヤ様が。
あるいは、バンセンヌには不思議な魔力でもあるのかもしれない。そう。それが私の実感だわ。
魔力？
歴史の重み。100年以上も蓄積した乙女たちの思い。それは卒業して遥か経った後も私たちを狂わせる。
私たちがそれを乗り越えてみせます。
律子のセリフとは思えないわね。
前にも言ったでしょ。私は変わったの。以前の私とは違う。
離婚するなら勝手になさい。でも母さんは決して進めないわよ。
Ritsuko had acted strong-willed that night, but she spent the next day seized with nausea. A person's wedding day should be the happiest day of her life. Their life. For that to become her most awful day instead.
さすがの私も今度こそがっくりきたわ。もうダメかもしれ。リツコ？あなた大丈夫？なんか顔色が真っ青だけど、ちょっと気分が。お姉様、保健室に行きましょう。私も付き合うわ。本当に真っ青じゃない。あんた何かあったの？
Her sister looked at her in concern. They had never exactly gotten along poorly, but this was the first time she had ever thought of asking her for help.
そうだ。こうなったら、もう姉さんに。
And I shall end this episode here. Alright. All this drama. So much drama. Looks a good point to end actually. So, see you in the next one.